each other. So, those people living in groups, they are closely related because of by birth or by marriages. Such groups are called as clans. Some important persons among these clans may emerge as powerful headmen who led them and settled the internal disputes. They gradually grew wealthy and powerful and settled disputes also. Children, after the Mauryan Empire ended, many headmen of such clans, they emerged as small kings, and among them were the Satavahanas, who managed to build a large kingdom which extended from the banks of river Narmada to the Krishna and Godavari delta. It was such a huge kingdom. So, who are the important kings of Satavahana? So, let us learn. The first king was Gautami Putra Satakarni. The second was Vasishta Sri Pulumavi. And the third one was Yajna Sri Satakarni. Children, did you know this? That these Satavahana kings, they ruled about 200 years, around 2000 years ago. Some of them made Dhanyakataka as their capital city, which is located on the river Krishna near Amravati. They made Dhanyakataka as their capital. Satavahanas tried to bring the various clan headmen and small kings under their control, but allowed them to function within their clan areas without any interference. So, what was the policy of Satavahanas? That they wanted to bring all the clan headmen under their control, but at the same time they gave certain independence to them without interfering the functioning of the clans. Children, many of these headmen, especially women of the families and even the traders, so they contributed to the Buddhist monasteries, and stupas were built, such as the stupas were built in Amravati, Bhattiprolu, Vadlamanu, etc. The Satavahana kings made large donations of land to the Brahmins and Buddhist monks also. Children, these lands were made tax free. They have not collected any tax from the Buddhist monks or the Brahmins. No tax was also collected from them. During the time, the trade with distant places like Bengal and even Rome became very important. So, we find large number of coins, included the Roman coins and the pots made in the Roman style, merchandise, and was probably transported in boats along the sea route, sea coast, and over the Krishna river to the interior towns such as like Amravati. So, we could find all these things from the excavations that were dig from deep inside, and they could find all the gold coins and even other articles. And studying, the archaeologists have studied all these things and they have come to understand all these things about the history. Children, there was also a place called Kotilingala which was occupied by Satavahanas, which was conquered by Satavahanas, which is in Telangana. Kotilingala is situated at the confluence of Peddavagu and river Godavari in Jagtial district in Telangana, upside of Sripada Ellampalli project. It was the first capital of Satavahana dynasty. It was the capital of Asmaka Janapada, one of the 16 Mahajanapadas of ancient India. You have learnt about 16 Mahajanapadas in the previous lesson, isn't it, children? So, this was also the capital of Asmaka Janapada among the 16 Mahajanapadas. Then, what did they find during excavations? What are excavations? Just now I have told you that a soil is dig if certain things are, ancient things are found, some, if digging is going on, if they find certain ancient things, that whole region is excavated to find out if any more articles related to the history are found inside, and by studying this they will come to know various things about the past. So what did they found? The pre-Satavahana, Satavahana and Ikshvaku period coins were found. Valuable antiquities such as pottery, terracotta figurines and a large quantity of ceramic ware. You can see some of the coins of Kotilingala times, and here it is the pottery at the time of Kotilingala. Children, this is the picture of Gautami Putra Satakarni portrayed on the coins of the time. A ring was constructed with a kin. Bricks was also found. Silver coins of Simukha, the founder of Satavahana dynasty, and those of early rulers like Kanha and Satakarni were also found. It had a mud fort, several gates and watchtowers like a tower with 4 corners. Children, beside Kotilingala stupas, Vihara chaityas of Buddhist monks are found at Fanigiri, Nelakondapalli, Kondaput, Dhulikata, Peddabankur and Kisar Gutta. In all these places in Telangana state, beside Kotilingala, these all stupas of Buddhist monks are found in Telangana state also. Children, now let us study how did the headman of some clans became small kings. So what were the policies of the Satavahanas? So after the end of Satavahana kingdom, Ikshvakus, they assumed the royal titles and established a kingdom with its capital in Vijaypuri, which was probably located near Nagarjunakonda on the banks of river Krishna. So after Satavahanas, who came to the power? That is Ikshvakas. So they occupied the throne and they established the kingdom, and the capital of the Ikshvakas was Vijaypuri, which is located in Nagarjunakonda, and this Nagarjunakonda is located on the banks of river Krishna. Children, who are the important kings of Ikshvaka dynasty? Let us understand. The important kings of this dynasty are Shantamula and Veerapurusha Datta. These were the 2 important kings of Ikshvaka dynasty. These kings, they tried to bring together various headmen. And how did they do that? By marrying the people from other tribes. So various headmen and small chiefs, they got their people married with the tribal people. So with that, the unity among the people could be brought, and with this the head of the clan also turned to the small kings. At the same time, they sought to show the distinctiveness by performing yajnas like Ashwamedha, Vajpeya, etc. And they made large donations to Brahmins. They also claimed to be the descendants of Lord Rama of the Ramayana. So what did they do? At the same time, they wanted the unity of among the village headmen of the clan. At the same time, they wanted to show their distinctiveness, that is, they want to show that they are unique. So how could they do that? They performed different yagas and yagnas. So some of such yagas and yagnas are the Ashwamedha, Vajpeya, etc. And even they have donated so much of the money to the Brahmins also. Children, they also claimed themselves that they belong to the descendants of the Lord Rama of the Ramayana. Now, interestingly, what the women used to do? Women of the time of Ikshvaka family, they were also devoted themselves to the Buddhist saints and made large donations to the famous stupa and monasteries of Nagarjuna Konda. A very large monastery and stupa was built in this place. Which place? It is in Nagarjuna Konda. Children, I hope you are understanding the lesson. So, let us go for the next part of the lesson. So, some important empires of the Indian subcontinent. What are the important empires which were established during the time? One such empire was that of Kushans. Children, let us learn more about Kushans. The Kushans originally migrated from China. So, these people, they came from China and they gradually established an empire with its center in Afghanistan. They established their center in the Afghanistan more than 2000 years ago, and they further wanted to conquer the remaining places also, and they entered into India. The most famous Kushana king was Kanishka, who ascended the throne in 78 CE. You can see the image of Kanishka here. Children, how did the Kushans manage their territory? They controlled their territory. Let us understand now. They controlled a large territory in present day Pakistan and India up to Mathura and Allahabad. So, they controlled a vast territory. It included even Pakistan also, and in India up to Mathura and Allahabad from UP. Besides large part of Afghanistan, Kushans also controlled regions up to Oxus River. You know where is Oxus River, children? It is near in Afghanistan. So, from Afghanistan till India up to Uttar Pradesh, Mathura and Allahabad, all these regions were under the control of Kushana kings. They effectively controlled the major trade routes passing between India, China, Iran and even Rome in Italy. So, they had trade relationship with India also, even China, Iran, and they were having trade relation with Rome also. Children, this was the era of great expansion of trade between these countries and the movement of religious preachers, scientists and artists. So, during the time of Kushans, so many people, not just the religious preachers, scientists and artists have come into our country, and also it was a great expansion of the trade between those countries and with India. So, people across these countries, they came to know about each other. They came to know about their customs, the practices that they do from other countries. So many cultural and traditional practices have entered into our country. The religious and philosophical thinking, their art, the building style, besides of the course buying of each other's produce. So, not only the products were exchanged because of the trade, not only that, but even the culture, tradition, their philosophical thinking, their religious ideas, all these also got exchanged from one country to another country. So, we can call this era as a era of great expansion of trade as well as even the other important things also. Children, as a result of this trade, urban centers all over India expanded and gold flowed into India. So, a lot of gold flowed into India because of the dynamic trade policies of the Kushans. This can be seen in the large number of gold coins etc. from this period. So, during the time of Kushans, a lot of trade occurred. We can get an evidence. From where can we get this evidence? That a lot of gold coins of Kushana times were found during the excavations, and we can identify that a lot of trade occurred during that time. Children, now let us learn about the other important kings, that is about Guptas. So, shall we go for learning about Guptas? Gupta's age was also called as the golden times. So, let us explore about Guptas now. Children, Gupta Empire. The Gupta dynasty kings began their rule of a small kingdom in a modern Bihar, and within 3 generations gained control over most of northern India, and from Gujarat to Bengal and Delhi to present day Madhya Pradesh. So many places were conquered by Guptas within 3 generations. Children, let us see some of the most famous kings of Gupta dynasty. The first king was Chandragupta I. The second king was Samudragupta. Third, it is Chandragupta II and Kumaragupta, and the fifth king is Skandagupta. This is the image of Chandragupta I. Children, see, you can see the vast empire of the Gupta period. This is all from Bihar. They could extend there up to Delhi and even till Madhya Pradesh and even Gujarat. These all places were Rajasthan. These all were occupied by Guptas. Children, the Gupta kings are famous for 2 major new developments in Indian political system. So, what are those 2? Firstly, when they conquered a new kingdom, they allowed the old king to continue to rule on the condition that they accept the superior status of the Gupta kings and follow their orders. So, the Gupta kings, they were famous for 2 new developments. What are those 2 new developments? That they conquered a particular place, but the old king who would be there, he was allowed to continue to rule. He was not taken off his kingdom or his place, but he was allowed to continue, but they should accept the superiority of the Guptas. This was the first political policy of the Guptas. Or even the people who collected the tax were never allowed to enter in those villages also. Brahmins settled in these places and performed yagnas, and they also taught Vedas to young Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, and they also taught Itihasas and Puranas to all the people. So, Brahmins were started settling in those places. They were doing all these things independently. They started teaching to the Puranas to all. They started performing yagnas and taught Vedas to the young Brahmins and Kshatriyas as well as Vaishyas. And they also taught the Itihasas, that is about history, to all the people. So, this is how the second policy the Guptas have framed. Now, let us go for the next part. Children, this is Mehrauli pillar. So, this famous Mehrauli pillar is now in Qutub Minar complex in Delhi. So, what is the special thing? It was constructed by Chandragupta II, who was also called as Vikramaditya. So, what is the speciality of this Mehrauli pillar? Do you know, children? Yes, this pillar is famous for the fact that it is not rusted, despite it is this is the pillar, and it is not rusted despite it is standing in the open air for last 1700 years also. So, that is the special thing about this pillar, and it is located in the Qutub Minar complex in Delhi. So, when you visit Delhi, children, you don't forget to visit this place, and you will be surprised that it is not yet rusted at all, though it is standing on in the open air. Children, the Gupta kings were also great patrons of Vedic religious practices like Ashwamedha sacrifice. So, what is patronizing? That is, they contributed certain amount of money for those religious practices such as Ashwamedha sacrifice. They also practiced Puranic traditions, especially Vaishnavism and Shaivism, by building temples devoted to the various avatars of Vishnu, Shiva and Durga, and made endowments for worship in them. Children, so this is how the religious policy of the Guptas. Such patronage of Gupta kings is said to have strengthened the process of integration of various elements like yagnas, worship of large number of local gods as manifestation of Shiva, Vishnu or Durga, temple worship, gift to Brahmins, etc. into Hindu religion. So, all these things people start following. So, it strengthened the process of integration of all these various elements such as yagnas, worshipping of local gods, and even the manifestation of Shiva, Vishnu, Durga. Temple worship also started during that time, and even the people started giving gift to Brahmins. These all things entered into Hindu religion. The Guptas also patronized and gave grant to Buddhist stupas like Sanchi stupa and Jain monasteries. Not only Guptas strengthened their own religion, that is Hinduism, but also they were religious tolerant, and they also contributed for the construction of the Sanchi stupa and also about the Jaina monasteries. Children, several beautiful temples were built during the rule of Gupta kings, and some of them can even seen today in Diogar and Udaygiri in Madhya Pradesh, and Baitragaon and Iran in Uttar Pradesh. They contain some of the most beautiful stone sculpture made in India. While these were dedicated to Vishnu and Shiva, the Gupta period is also famous for some of the best sculptures of Buddha from Sarnath. So, there were so many beautiful temples built during the time of Guptas in Uttar Pradesh and even in Madhya Pradesh, and there were so many beautiful stone sculptures made in India. While these were dedicated to Vishnu and Shiva, they also built beautiful sculptures, that is the sculpture of Buddha from Sarnath. It was also built during the time of Guptas only. Children, now let us learn about what is Shaka era. Shaka era 78 CE, during the time of Kushans, the year of ascension of Emperor Kanishka, occupied the throne of Kushan dynasty. That period became the beginning of the Shaka era. So, it was called as Shaka era or Shakabda. Now, it's the time for evaluation. The first question is, what similarities between Indo-Gangetic plains and Krishna Tungabhadra led to the establishment of villages and towns there? So, do you find any similarities? Indo-Gangetic plains, you remember children, they are near the river Ganga, the plains which are located, and there are also the Krishna Tungabhadra plains. So, there should be certain similarities. What are those similarities which led to the establishment of villages and towns in this region? The second question is, what is Shaka era? Just now we have discussed about Shaka era. You need to write few sentences about the Shaka era. How many years before this particular Shaka era prior this Shaka era has been started. So, write to 4 or 5 sentences about Shaka era also. The third question is, where is Mehrauli pillar, and write a few sentences about it. So, write about the Mehrauli pillar, where it is located, and what are the special things, or what is the speciality of Mehrauli pillar, and during which kings or emperors period that has been built. You need to write about it. The fourth question is, name the important empires in Indian subcontinent, write a few sentences about them. And for better understanding of the concepts, you have to solve the worksheets also. Please visit the official site of SCERT for the worksheets.